Coach Johnny and Coach Saul are with me today. And what's wonderful about this is that they knew each other on the inside, and now they know each other very well on the outside. You get to hear what it's like to be so successful on the outside that you're rekindling relationships, but only the healthy ones when you're out. That's what gets a lot of people tripped up, is when they get home and then it's the same old, same old. It's the same stuff that got them into trouble. It's the same addictions that creep up on them. But with Coach Johnny and Coach Saul, both of them made very, very strong decisions to be of service to their community. And then they've reunited as friends. Today's episode is great. I hope you enjoy it.
Coach Saul and Coach Johnny, I'm so happy that you both are here. This is going to be kind of a surprise for both of you. GOGI is moving some of its courses to tablets and online learning. And I'm really, really excited. I know, isn't that the best?
It is.
Yeah, very, very exciting. We give these courses away to any prison or any chaplain or any group that wants to give these to their students. But what we are going to do also is make this into an online course. So we are going to talk about the contents in this course, and your videos is going to make up some of the online content, which I'm really, really excited about. So while we film, I'm going to be asking you things, but I might be just kind of looking at this because I'm not sure what the student is going to see. But we are going to be talking about tools of the body, how you apply them, what do you think they are, how are they applicable to life on the outside, how do they function in your life, and who do you share them with, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Pretty exciting to do online learning, huh?
Yeah, that's definitely, it's a move forward, and it'll be very, very beneficial to a lot of individuals.
Absolutely. So I'm happy that you guys get to participate in it. So the first thing that we do is we welcome the students and we introduce them to GOGI. I would like Coach Johnny, you to just give that little short recap. What is GOGI and what can somebody expect out of doing this course?
So hello everyone, my name is Coach Johnny. GOGI is a lifestyle. It's an opportunity to identify a life worth living. It applies, offers us tools to deal with everyday situations. I'm sure Coach Saul will agree that some of the things that we've experienced out here weren't things that we expected while we were in prison. And I think something that you'll get out of it is an appreciation for life. You'll have, tools that you'll be able to access at a moment's notice to deal with any situation that comes, and comes with the reassurance and a confidence that we don't have without GOGI Life Tools.
So, Coach Johnny, are you like a teacher, a psychologist? How did you get involved with GOGI, and what do you do?
Kind of depends who you ask. I'm joking. So for me, I'm a student. I'll continue to be a student. Started being a student, then I became a coach. I got introduced to GOGI in 2010, and Coach Taylor said, if you want to be free, be of service to your community. And at the time, I didn't know what it meant. And as I began to practice the tools and teach the tools and work with the tools and walk alongside others as we practice the tools, I was able to identify my purpose, and that was to serve people. And it just came with the freedom that I never knew existed, even a freedom while I was in prison. And that may seem like an oxymoron, but when you do practice these tools and live this GOGI lifestyle, you'll be able to experience freedom like you've never known possible, whether you're in prison or not.
Well, you had a lot of experience with prison. How many years were you behind bars wearing a fancy blue uniform with orange letters down the leg?
28 years.
So, yeah, you have enough experience behind the wall to know that these tools are applicable for anyone.
Definitely.
Coach Saul, could you explain to our student who's going to be either watching this video or doing the course associated with this video, what are the tools of the body? And what was your first thought when you heard their name? So if you could just say, well, the tools of the body are, and here's a little bit about them.
So tools of the body are boss of my brain, belly breathing, and 5-second light switch. So boss of my brain, I was thinking when I first heard it, I was like, I am the boss of my brain. I tell myself what to think, what to say, and what to speak. But then as I was learning about the tool, I realized that, you know what, I wasn't the boss of my brain. A lot of the times I was reacting to other people instead of responding in the situation. But the boss of my brain taught me that it doesn't matter what's going on around me. You know, I always have a choice in the matter, and the choice is mine to make no matter what it is. And I could be proud of it no matter what it is, because I know it's something I decided to do, not something that I just reacted on instinct or nothing. It's something that, you know, I know it was my choice in the moment, and I chose to do it.
So you thought you were the boss of your brain. You learned a little bit about the tool and you realized, wait a second. So 3 parts of the brain that matter. What are they, and how did you kind of get it mixed up? You weren't really using them properly at first.
Yeah, so you have a smart part. That's the one where you think about where you're able to think about the situation and see it for what it is instead of what you believe it is. That comes from the emotional part. Your emotions is just like feeling angry, feeling lonely, feeling sad, and that part was the most difficult for me to actually to be the boss of, to understand that I'm the boss of, and don't have it part. The don't have it part is our fight or flight, our flight or flight response that we naturally learn growing up to certain situations that they are repeated, they become a habit. That's our old habit. So whenever our emotional part is triggered, it leads to our old habits, and well, it used to lead to my old habit. I used to act on it. I was very impulsive growing up. So like somebody call me a name that I did not like or anything. My first reaction was, you know what? I need to stop him from saying this to me, so I'm gonna hurt him. And that's what I learned. But now I use my own emotional part instead of reacting on that anger or that sense of loneliness or that fear. I know I'm the boss of it, so I stop in that instant. I remind myself to be appreciative for what I got and the path that I come across. So now instead of reacting to my old habit, I'm able to think about the situation. So now I'm using my front part, the smart part of my brain. So now I'm able to think about the situation and make the best decision possible. That's how I apply the boss to my brain. I'm the boss of every single part. The smart part, the emotional part, and the old habit part. If I choose to act on my habit, that's my choice. If I choose to act on my emotional part, that's my choice. If I choose to act on my smart part, that's my choice. But now I understand that allowing myself to be fueled by emotions and my habit part is not the way to live my life. Now I know how to use my smart part and make the best decisions possible.
I love that. Coach Johnny, when you are working with as a drug treatment counselor, when you're working with your clients and you are trying to explain boss of my brain to someone, break it down a little bit. We know how Saul uses them. We know he thought he was the boss. He then realized, wait a second, I'm not truly the boss quite yet. How do you explain boss of my brain to somebody maybe in a setting of moving beyond addiction of whatever sort, or criminal thinking, or whatever it might be that's holding them back?
So for me, one is identifying what I'm committed to. And as a recovering drug addict and criminal and gang member and alcoholic, I knew, I've come to realize that I say I want to be a good dad, but I'm getting high. In those moments, the drug is the boss, not me. I'm allowing it to dictate what I do, when I do it, how I show up in that relationship as a father or a brother or a son or a husband. Understanding that whenever I give my choice over to anyone or anything else, I'm not actually being the boss. Whether it's my emotions or whether it's, Coach Saul said that sometimes somebody would say, call him out of his name or do something like that. I'm giving somebody else the power, and understanding that when I'm making choices that are helping me receive the life that I say that I want, it's a reminder that I'm being the boss. And if I have results that I don't say that I want, then I believe that's a reminder as well that maybe I'm not being the best boss. And I think that's a great distinction in this tool, is that oftentimes we'll say we're the boss, but are you a good boss? There are bosses out there that aren't the best. And when it comes to my brain, I want the best boss possible.
I love that. If Coach Saul, if you're just sitting there with somebody in an 8-foot cell and a 2-inch mattress, and they're saying, boss my brain, that sounds stupid, I am the boss, what would you just sincerely sit down and tell them?
So for me, first of all, say you're the boss. You're absolutely right. Because at the end of the day, you make your own decisions that you're responsible for them. So I would ask them, are the decisions you are making giving you the results you would like? If not, maybe there could be a change. Maybe it's another way you can be a boss. Because, being in a facility with somebody, I'm not going to tell them what they have to do. They have to realize it for themselves. So I just ask them a question. What do you do when you're angry? When somebody comes up to you and calls your name, what do you automatically do? Maybe they'll say, I call my name back, or maybe they'll say they'll probably punch him or something. And I'll say, is that something you want to do? Because you know the consequences are always negative. And if they realize that it's always negative, I'll be like, so are you really the boss of your brain? Are you really making the best decisions for yourself? And then I'll go from there. I'll just go into, I'll probably go into 5-second life switch, but we'll wait for that later. And I will ask them, what are the results you want to get while you're in here? Do you want to live a life where all your decisions fall in place with your freedom? Or do you want to live a life where all your decisions fall into your entrapment? And I'll kind of go at it that route.
I love that. Your second tool that you mentioned, Boss My Brain, then belly breathing. Break down belly breathing for us and how you might use it on an everyday basis, Coach Saul.
Ooh, belly breathing, I can honestly say it's a lifesaver in every situation. So for me, belly breathing is just being conscious of how it is that I'm breathing. If I'm breathing with my chest, very likely is I know I'm in a situation that's reactive and I want to react quick. But if I'm breathing with my belly, I know it's a situation that calls for me to relax. So for me, every situation calls for me to relax. So when I belly breathe, I'm able to take a deep breath. I feel all my muscles relax, and I know I'm be able to make a good decision in the moment. Because when I belly breathe and I'm relaxed, I don't act instantly. I'm able to actually think about the situation and might make the best decision possible. Because now I understand that belly breathing actually allows my brain to get the oxygen it needs in the moment. And it also, like I mentioned, it also keeps me calm and relaxed in the situation.
Coach Saul, I have a question. When you first learned it, was it important for you to actually put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly? Was that important, or did you just automatically get it? I just got to get air to my belly. How did you learn that? Hand on my chest, hand on my belly, which one's moving?
So those are actually the key words to belly breathing. It actually was very beneficial to keep that in mind. I was taking meditation classes before GOGI, so they always tell me focus on your belly, make sure you're not breathing with your chest. But I never really paid attention to myself. Once I took GOGI, I started noticing. I put my hand on my chest and my hand on my belly, and I noticed throughout the day, most of the time I'll be breathing with my chest. When I was in intense situations, I was breathing with my chest. So it helped me be cognizant of that. So after that, I'll just keep in mind, make sure I have my hand in my belly, and make sure that's the one that's moving. Because if not, it's probably a situation that I really need to get away from, because I'm not going to react in the best possible manner. But that's one thing that was beneficial. I was taking meditation, but the only time I would belly breathe is when I was in meditation. I didn't know that I should be belly breathing in every other situation as well.
I love that.
So
Coach Johnny, explain to me, how would you teach somebody the fine art of belly breathing the GOGI way?
I think definitely like the keywords: one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. Which one is moving? And also too, like being aware, like in the moment at all times. Like something like it's a go-to for me, this tool, because whenever I'm experiencing like stress or frustration, my first question is like, are you belly breathing? There's things that we've experienced out here that weren't something that we expected. And as I feel the frustration or the fear or the anxiety, I instantly remind myself to belly breathe. Like, take a deep breath. And the great thing about belly breathing too is it creates space. It allows you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds that you may need in order to make an informed decision. Like Coach Saul was saying, it allows oxygen to go through your whole body. It allows you to take maybe just a split second that you need. And often too, it's interesting too, because many of the men and women that I speak to about belly breathing, they're like, man, if I would have had this tool, I probably wouldn't have committed the crime that I committed that ended me in prison for a life sentence. So being able to create that space, the time, the calmness, and being able to make an informed, thought out decision is the difference between, you could say, life and death.
Well, and very well could be a life or death issue. If you are not breathing, you're certainly not making the smartest decisions. So, Coach Saul, I know you've been out of prison, but let's put you back in mentally for just a moment. You're sitting on that 2-inch mattress. You have a new cellie, and he says, "What's that book you're reading?" And you say, "It's GOGI." "What's GOGI?" "Well, it's this," and belly breathing, and you realize the guy just really isn't breathing. How would you describe belly breathing to somebody who has no idea what you're talking about?
I actually had a cellie that was very, she'll always be like, I want to say, I don't know if stress is the correct word for the situation, but he'll be worried about all kinds of stuff. So actually, I talked to him about belly breathing. I say, look what I'm learning about belly breathing. Have you noticed that, how do you should breathe throughout the day? And he was like, I don't know. What does that matter for? But I told him, it really does matter. I told him, what I've learned is when I breathe with my stomach, I'm more relaxed, and that helps me in a lot of situations. And it keeps me from worrying too much. So he was like, okay. I said, so just pay attention throughout the day, notice like when you're mostly breathing and stuff. So he came back that night. He was like, you know what? I noticed I actually breathe with my chest a lot. I said, okay. Try belly breathing. It's like, all right, how do you do that? So just make sure you're conscious that your stomach is going forward there instead of your chest. And luckily, he's not one of those individuals that had to actually figure out how to belly breathe. Like, the books mention a lot of times that people are asked to breathe like pretend the air is going to their legs. So he was able to do it, and he tried it out. And the next day he seemed more relaxed and everything. He seemed cool the next day, but belly breathing actually takes practice. So, it's not something that happens overnight. But he noticed that he was more relaxed, and he started being more conscious of himself, putting his stomach in his belly and noticing that.
I love that.
When
Yeah, I love how you introduced it to him. You didn't try to push it on him. You didn't, you didn't judge him. You just said, "Hey, this might work for you." And I think the beauty of the GOGI Life Tools is that that's how we've grown to be as reputable and successful as we are. It's really kind of like referral. And in taking this course, it's almost like a referral to investigate. Just inquire. Just ask some questions and see. The next tool that we had in this Tools of the Body was 5-second light switch. And I would love to hear from you, Coach Saul, because you said, quick to make decisions, things like that.
Yeah.
I know 5-second light switch works for individuals who are quick to make a snap decision at something. Talk to us about what is 5-second light switch and how is it used?
So 5-second light switch is basically it's a tool to help you retrain yourself to respond to situations in a rightful way, making a positive decision. Instead of going back to your way of thinking, oh, you know what, he disrespected me, I need to hurt him or something, make sure he respects me. It's a different way to gain respect. You know what, somebody tells you something you don't like, 5-second light switch allows you to actually go over there, talk to an individual, and let them know, those words are very hurtful. May you not speak to me in that manner. And it helps you. It helped me. It's a situation I always mention, like even when I've written before, I had a cellie that was very obnoxious. So this is how I use 5-second light switch. I was in Iowa State Prison from a level 4 all the right. So technically I still had level 4 points. Anything I do, I will be sent back. Unfortunately, I got moved in with him. Well, I should say fortunately, because moving in with him taught me a lot of patience, and it allowed me to grow for the time that I was there with him. So he was very obnoxious, very loud and rude. And man, it's difficult living with a person that it's not cognizant that there are those little hateful tail and loud noises have the possibility to irritate those you live with. So this is how I use 5-second light switch. Growing up, I was taught that if somebody's doing something I don't like, I would need to hurt them. That was my go-to. I'm gonna hurt them and that's it. Or if they're being loud, I'm going to just say something foul to them to get them to stop. So I was just doing 5-second light switch at this time when I had a roommate, and they taught me that, you know what? I don't have to do that. I could actually make other decisions. just because somebody's being loud and obnoxious doesn't mean I gotta hurt them, get them to stop. I could communicate with them, or there's other stuff I could do. So this tool taught me to have my actions ready. So exercising, getting a drink of water. For that situation with that roommate, I had to play music. So I'll drown them out by playing music, So I really happy section.
We may have lost him a little bit. Coach Johnny, can you explain if you were to teach somebody 5-second light switch? Talk about how you would teach them that.
So for me, it's actually an exercise I do every time we review this tool. And one thing that I do is I put my hand out and identify 5 things that matter the most. So for me, it's my relationship with God, my sobriety, my marriage, my family, and you may not be able to tell by looking at me, but I like to eat. So food, like I'll see a commercial and be like, let's go. So what happens is, as a recovering alcoholic, drug addict, gang member, and criminal, if I'm offered any of those things, a weapon or a drug, I have to open my hand to receive it. And I'm letting go of the 5 things that I say matter the most. So every day when I wake up, I go through that exercise before I get out of bed and remind myself what's important. And since I've been doing it since like 2011, there's no one who has ever said getting high is more important, getting drunk, committing a crime is more important. Everyone pretty much always goes back to their original commitments, whether it's sobriety or staying out of prison or getting out of prison or their family or children. So understanding that when it comes to this tool, it's an opportunity to really, one, identify what's important, and then 2 is to remain committed to achieving those goals and getting out of life what I say that I want.
So by taking 5 important things that you hold tightly, you are giving yourself that 5 seconds to move into a positive action. That's the beauty of 5-second light switch is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get to that positive action, take that breath. So what you do is you name those 5 most important things and you hold them tightly. And that's how you flip your switch.
Yeah. And if those ever come into question, then I will go for a walk, or I will, say a prayer, or just, excuse myself from the situation.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm happy you're back with us, because I want to hear, if you were to sit down with somebody, tell them 5-second light switch, how would you describe to them in that intimate moment when they are really ready to listen? How would you describe 5-second light switch and its benefits?
So what I would do first, I'll say, okay, now that you know the situation, next time, how would you handle it differently? And maybe they'll give me a few responses that say, oh, I'll walk away, or I'll go do something else, or I'll communicate with them. I'll say, okay, that's a start. You see, 5-second light switch, it allows you to actually have this action at hand. So when the next situation actually arises, similarly, you already know what to do. So it's your way to
switch. You could flip the switch to another decision. I love that.
You could take 5 seconds real quick to think about the situation. Maybe it's been good for the moment, and remind yourself you are the boss of your brain, and flip your switch real quick and make the positive decision. And one thing I like to mention is I had a student that who was doing GOGI with me, and he'll use 5 things. I know in the book it also mentions someone that uses their family members, but for him it was family, freedom, faith. I forgot the other 2, but pretty much those are his 5 seconds. His 5 seconds to think of the 5 things that are more important to him in his life, and to remind himself that, in this situation, I need to keep all of that in mind and make the most positive decision possible.
I love that. Coach Johnny, can you review for me the set of tools called Tools of the Body? Just kind of recap for us. What are they for and what are they? And then Coach Saul, I'm going to ask you what your favorite tool is, or what situation would you use a particular tool? So Coach Johnny, recap for us. What are the tools of the body? What is their purpose? And what are they?
So one thing that I do want to share is that I had a student that said when he grew up, he would help his dad fix cars. And his dad would be like, give me this tool. And he didn't know the name of it. He didn't even know what it looked like. So his dad would have to explain it to him. And when he went into the military, what happened was they were really descriptive. They would have the name of the tool, an exact spot for the tool. So whenever they asked for it, you would know exactly which tool. And I think GOGI offers the same thing. And in Tools of the Body, we have Boss My Brain. We have a tool that really helps you identify, one is, I want to say, your purpose. Like, what am I committed to? It allows me to realize, like, the decision I'm making, is this my decision or is this somebody else? Is it being influenced? Is it being influenced from the smart part, the emotional part, or the old habit part? What part of my brain is it being influenced from? And am I truly a good boss? And is there ways that I can improve? And then you have belly breathing, one hand on your stomach, one hand on your chest. Which one is moving? And understanding the concept of allowing oxygen through your whole body to make the best decisions, not only for yourself, but for other people around you and for your family and for those who you say truly matter. And then we have 5-second light switch, which provides an opportunity for you to create space to make the best decision. It can serve as a reminder of these 5 things are more important than going back to prison, or these 5 things are more important than giving my power to somebody who doesn't deserve it, who doesn't have my best interest in mind. So it allows a space to consider and create. And I think Coach Taylor and Coach Saul really mentioned something that is applicable for everybody. And one, it's an invitation. These tools are an invitation for you to live a life worth living, to live an unprecedented future, to be able to really be happy in a place, no matter where you're at. Whether I remember reading the material when Coach first introduced it. It says you can be free no matter where you lay your head. And I've experienced that. I'm sure Coach Saul will attest to that as well, that freedom isn't about where you're at physically, it's about where you are mentally. And GOGI Life Tools really offer an opportunity for true freedom, no matter where you're at.
I love that. Coach Saul, which of the tools of the body is your favorite and why?
So mine, so I'm going to go with Boss My Brain. And for the same reason I explained earlier, it reminds me that no matter what situation I'm in control. And I actually want to give an example if I'm able to.
Yeah, sure.
So last night we stayed at a hotel and a casino. So I know my addictive personality, right? I know what would happen to me if I go play the slots or go play poker or whatnot. I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to want to leave. So I have to remind myself that, you know what? Right now, if I decide to go over there and gamble, it's my choice. And if I decide not to, that's also my choice. And I started thinking, how to take a few little belly breaks and remind myself, and to get the oxygen to my brain to remind myself, if I go gamble, I could end up just wasting a bunch of money that I'm going to have to take probably months to recover. And that's not going to be the best decision for me out here, 5 months out. That's not going to be pretty good for me, especially with everything else I got going on. So I decided, you know what? Today I'm be the boss of my brain. I'm not going to allow myself to want to go seek a little adrenaline rush or excitement. I'm going to just walk right back to the room and do what I'm here to do. Just sleep, wake up the next day, and go back out. So that's just a little situation.
I love that example. And I love the fact that you're calling us from going and house hunting in an area and you're driving your car, you're under some palm trees. It's really a testament to how well you have applied these tools to your life. I want to just say thank you for being such an example for all our students or anybody who just is curious about how the GOGI Life Tools might help them. I want to thank you so much, Coach Saul.
Thank you for this opportunity, Coach Saul. I appreciate it.
Always. And Coach
Johnny,
as always, it's so great to see you, and we'll see you again very soon, Coach Johnny. Coach Saul, thank you so, so much. I hope you find the perfect house.
I think we got it.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. Okay, I want to see some pictures.
I will. If it goes through and we get it, they accept our offer, I'll send pictures.
Wonderful. All right. Until then, bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye, students. Bye. Keep your GOGI tools handy. Bye.
Always. They help me out. Thank you. Bye.
G-O-G-I, G-O-G-I. Go talking this, I got, come on, just to live by. G-O-G-I, G-O-G-I. Go talking this, I got the tools to live by.
All the GOGI Life Tools books are available on Amazon.
G-O-G-I, G-O-G-I.